Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to another time here. Welcome to another time in our book club. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making it. So this is a book we're reading. It's Bethany Frankel's book, Business is Personal. That's what we're on to. We're going to close out chapter 8 today. There are 13 chapters, 5 more chapters after today to go. All right, so pretty much we did the first part of chapter 8 last week. We're going to the second part, and we said this is talking about relationship. It's talking about uh, keeping your circle, your inner circle tight. Like we made mention last week, there are 3 circles, right? Which is pretty much analogous to the temple, analogous to our own being also, right? In the temple of Moses, you have the outer court where sinners and everybody can be in, right? Yeah, the inner court that only the priest can go into, right? And you have the Holy of Holies that only the high priest can go into once in a year. Right. So the Holy of Holies is the closest knit, right? So when we're talking about your circle here, we're talking about your Holy of Holies, right? Your tight knit circle, right? There's also other circle outside that tight knit circle, which you have associates and all of that stuff. Then the outer court, you have everybody. So there's everybody, there are associates, people you can reason with, you like, you relate with, then there are those that are close-knit, close to your heart, right? Those that you trust and trust you, those you can depend upon. It's not everybody you can depend upon. Not everybody has a good mind for you. Not everybody has your interests at heart. It's good to know those that have the interests at heart, those you can call on for help in the day of trouble, not those that say they're your friends, but won't be there for you in the day of trouble. Not your friends for a reason, or your friends for a season. You want your friends for life, right? So that's part of what we discussed last week. We're going to close out this week. So I was saying that there's a need to create connectivity with people. When creating connectivity, and when you talk about relationship as a whole, that friendship comes out of connectivity, right? Out of common interests. And we talked about there needs to be an overlap. If you don't have an overlap, you can't relate with people. When you don't have an overlap with people, there is no relationship. The amount of overlap is what will determine whether people are outside court, inner court, Holy of Holies. It's the connectivity or the relation, the having common interests, common goals, common vision, common belief. The commonality is what determines where people fall in your life. Where people don't have any commonality with you, they are on the outer court. When the red then becomes a bit of commonality, they begin to be people that can be in your inner court, right? And depending on the level of commonality and trust, they can then come into your Holy of Holies, your inner circle, right? So you want to know who is in and who is out, because those are the people that you can seemingly let your nerves be naked for. People that you can trust with your nerves, trust with things that can hurt you. Things, people you can go all out for and can go all out for you. People your safe net, your safe place. That brings to mind for me when I first joined one of the alumni WhatsApp group that I'm in, as one for my fellowship back from school, they call it Group C, right? And I joined it, and someone were discussing one time, and I said, oh, this is a safe net for me. I can come in a place of believers, I'm safe, but that was tested. 1 week after that, there was just a sudden uprising against me. I said something which, was harmless, but someone picked it up, in defense of his pastor, and kind of went all out for me, and others were like waiting for that occasion and just jumped in, right? You go back and later on, after all was settled, I asked the question, what was wrong with what I said? Nobody could answer that, because there was nothing wrong with what I said. It was just a spirit, a wrong spirit that caught hold of the moment, and told me that, wow, I thought it was a safe place, but it's not a safe place, because here you have a multitude of people with different interests, why different belief, even though we're supposed to be Christians, why from the same fellowship in school, that I left 33 years ago, right? And you've had different colorations of people, different belief system, different teachings, different levels of maturity, whether spiritually or just psychologically, so not everybody can have the difficult discussions, right? The immaturity comes to surface when you're having difficult discussions, so that's why you need to know your circle. You don't go exposing your nerves in the place that is not your circle. Just because you come from the same fellowship, just because you're Christians, doesn't necessarily mean that is your close-knit circle, right? It might just be one of your circles, right? But not your close-knit circle. So there's only so much you want to expose yourself to there, because you might just hurt yourself doing that. So it's here knowing who are in your circle, who are the people you're going to stand out to. Last year I did my 55th birthday, and the first time in 26 years of working where I work, I celebrated it in an office environment, and with the COVID protocol, and the limitation of a conference room, I could not invite everybody, right? I'm kind of a popular person. I know so many people at work, that I couldn't invite everybody. So I had to pick on the people, in a reduced number, people, and that came to some sifting, right? Probably those were the people, in some sense, I felt, where could be in that circle, like inner circle for me, right? There were probably more people, but by limitation of space, had to rank people, as per falling into that. And I think it was a good ranking, but you need to know you need to know your circle, right? You need to, it's good to make friends, no doubt, but they're friends and they're friends, right? You need to know where each one falls into, right? So you need to focus on the things that are important. If you're going to make connections, obviously, you're going to create connectivity, right? By finding commonalities, not just from commonalities, find out what the things that are important to them, right? And know whether you want to be like them or you don't want to be like them, right? If you see any attribute in any person that is not what you want to be or who you are, then you need to define that relationship, because if you don't define it, it's going to stay in you, right? I don't spend inordinate time with people that are not like I am, or are not like who I want to be, right? I define my relationship, right? Obviously on WhatsApp, I spend time with everybody, in some sense, joking, playing, when it comes to a face-to-face, you won't find me spending too much time with someone who doesn't have a behavior or personality that is in alignment with who I am or who I want to be, because all communication corrupts, right? So I need to be careful of what kind of corruption I'm allowing into my life, right? And we all need to, do that for our own life, right? It's the way you defend yourself, because you are either, or you are going to be, right? The personalities you spend your time with, because both of you are corrupting one another, right? Same illustration we always give as to two people going for a work, right? They have different speeds when they walk on their home, but when they walk together, they're going to come to a new speed, which is different from the individual speed, but it's a speed that is good enough for them to work together, right? So your every association affects who you are. So you need to be careful, the kind of association you give place to, right? That's important.